Hey guys, what is up? It is Bib07 here again, and welcome to another RuneScape 3 vlog here today. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the CompCape redesign update to their document that they made, as well as my thoughts on that, and a couple of my thoughts on the proposed buff to Tier 92 armor sets that was recently scrapped, and they're going to be going back to the drawing board. I am here on my Hardcore Iron Man. I'm just going to be doing fletching in the video, so nothing really to watch, just mostly discussion vlog type thing. Working on this fletching for Branches of Darkmire, of course. But yeah, we had a new episode of this series out yesterday. If you missed it, you can check that out on my channel. And tomorrow we will have our normal weekly vlog for the Monday update. Excuse me. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the discussion here. So I'm not very happy with the things they've changed regarding the CompCape redesign. It seems like they are just continuing to try to appeal more and more to casual players, while at the same time angering all the actual completionists and people who want to have the difficult achievements in the game actually be recognized for, with one of the capes of accomplishment, which is kind of it's always been the main thing in the game since skill capes came out. These capes of accomplishment were the things you got to show off your accomplishments, I guess. And I mean, what is the point of an MMO if it's not to show off to other people how much better you are than them? I mean, not that's kind of like a joke, but it's kind of true at the same time. People do the bosses and get titles and stuff because they have fun doing it, probably, but also because they just want to have that that prestige to show it off to other people and stuff like that. So that's just kind of one of the main reasons why I think that not having some really difficult achievements that aren't on the cape just because, or aren't on some cape just because they're supposedly too insane, just seems kind of stupid to me. They have the things broken up into tiers, and they've updated I think recently what these tiers actually mean. So they have tier 1 of basically every achievement aside from miscellaneous achievements are going to be broken up into tiers 1, 2, and 3. And let me just quickly look in here. What is in miscellaneous achievements? Okay, who cares about that? Okay, feats. Those are boss collections. You wouldn't want those on a cape necessarily. Mini quests, well, they're probably going to put these things in a different category. Yeah, they definitely will, because these are definitely not going to be in miscellaneous. So I'm not too sure what's all going to go in miscellaneous. It doesn't look like any of the things that are in there right now would actually even go in the category as they've proposed it. So we'll have to see how it actually ends up. But Tier 1 of all the other categories is labeled as the Completionist, which is defined as a player who has completed the core RuneScape experience, which I guess makes sense, although I don't know what exactly they consider the core experience. Tier 2 is the True Completionist, which is defined as a player who has completed everything except insane achievements. Insane achievements. Interesting way they put that there. Very subjective way to do this, but there isn't really an objective way unless they work with they come up with an insanity rating for every update or every achievement that could be added to Cape, and if it passes a certain threshold, it gets pushed to tier 3. But anyways, I don't really have any great ideas to solve that. And then tier 3 we have the Insane Completionist, which is defined as a player who has completed everything and all the insane things that we've thrown at them. Now this system sounds decent enough to me, but the problem arises, in my opinion, when they discuss what will actually be going on these types of things. So the main one that stuck out to me, but I'm sure it will apply across the board, is in the combat category. So tier 1 combat, they list kill all bosses once, so that would basically be a Reaper title that most people dislike having on the current CompCape. I think it's fine and should stay, so I'm glad to see that they're still putting that, but they say they might move group bosses to tier 2, and I think that's honestly pretty fair. They just leave all solo bosses on there, and then you need to get all the group bosses as well to move up to tier 2, as well as all the other things that are going to be required for tier 2. But I think that's a good thing. But then when you get to the tier 3 of combat, I think this is kind of a stupid thing that they say here. All combat achievements, including ones that are insane, but nothing harder than 1k Enraged Telos. I just don't understand why they can't have this tier 3 be everything in the game. Like it's like very few people are going to have this cape. It's going to be absolutely insanely hard to get. Like tier 3, it's insane. The Insane Completionist. This should have 4,000 Enraged Telos on it, if you ask me. I can't even currently do 4,000 Enraged Telos. I'm at 2K Enraged, so I'm a little higher than, most people, I guess. But at the same time, I feel like I would have a tough time pushing to 4K, especially without, the crutch of Sign of Life refreshes and Death Touch darts if I wanted to use those. I feel like I could do it if I put my, if I actually went for it, but I don't have any real interest in going for it right now because I'm mainly working on this account. But it would be tough. But it would be like it's actually it's even an achievement in the game. It's the True Warden, and 2K Enrage is like so you think you can guard or something. Like there's achievements in the game for these, and they're just not even going to be included in this cape redesign. It seems like, and I just don't understand that. Like tier 3 should be like ridiculous, like almost impossible to obtain. Like not impossible, but you know what I mean. Like it should be for the very top echelon of people who are truly like insane completionists, want to complete everything in the game regardless of difficulty, regardless of time investment. Like I just don't understand why they have to limit it with something like nothing harder than 1K Enraged Telos. Like it just seems strange to me that is their upper limit in terms of difficulty, and that kind of is disappointing to me as well, because I would like for there to be more solo bosses in the future that could possibly be more difficult than something like 1K Enraged Telos. I would enjoy a greater challenge than that. Like Telos is a really great boss, but as you get higher and higher above 1,000% enraged, like the fight doesn't really get any more interesting. You just start getting slapped for like massive amounts of damage, like through your prayer and everything. And while that's sort of interesting in its own right, and how you can use different defensive abilities to increase your survivability and reduce your food intake, it gets it's there's nothing new or interesting after you get hit 1,000 pretty much. And I think it would be pretty cool to see a different boss that was kind of maybe say on the level of difficulty of something like 2,000 Enraged Telos, but it wasn't difficult just because you're getting slapped for huge hits. It's like difficult because there's really challenging and in-depth mechanics and stuff like that. So if there's something new that comes out in the future that's more challenging than 1K Enraged Telos, is it just not going to be on the capes? I don't know. I just feel like them putting that as their upper limit is extremely like restrictive and would like limit their design space for future content, especially when new armors like tier 95 or whatever come out that are obviously going to be a pretty decent amount of power creep, make things like Telos easier, not by a whole lot but at least a little bit, and they can maybe justify releasing the more difficult bosses in the future. They've said this, obviously we can never really take Jagex's word for anything, so they could easily change their mind and be like, well, now that these new armors are out, we're going to remove this arbitrary restriction we put on the tier 3 combat cape. But then at the same time, do they then put on Silver Warden, Gold Warden? What do they do from there? Do they just keep it at 1K, but then they don't have everything in the game? I don't know. I thought they removed these frickin' Zenaris random events. What the heck? I guess not. I don't know. I literally read it in the patch notes. It seemed like a weird thing to remove to me. Maybe they put it back? I don't know. I thought they removed those. But yeah, there's no other obvious examples for the other categories because they don't really get as specific. They just say complete all of this category's achievements, including insane ones. One that they do list that is interesting, I guess, is for the tier 3 activities category, which is what they're relabeling mini games. They have complete all activities achievements, including ones that are insane, but nothing longer than Castle Wars. So the current Castle Wars achievement is something to do with I think you buy a full profound armor set and then talk to the dude at Castle Wars. And I don't know if there are any achievements in the game currently that do have the potential to take longer than that, aside from something, I don't know, some boss collections, but probably not even then. Almost definitely not even then. But yeah, that kind of makes sense to me because it's highly unlikely that they'll be adding anything new in the game that'll be something that could potentially take longer than Castle Wars in terms of like a mini game. I feel like they're not even going to add any new mini games for either forever or at least a really long time, because mini games are honestly just dead in this game at this point because they're just not rewarding enough. Maybe they'll come out with more rewarding mini games in the future, but regardless, I doubt anything that they ever come out with will take longer than the current Castle Wars achievement. So it makes sense that they list that there, but it doesn't really mean anything because there's nothing that is more difficult than that. Like for the combat cape, it means something that they list the 1K Enraged Telos as the hardest thing, because there are things that are more difficult than that. There's 2K, there's 4K Enraged. So there are things that can be achieved and have achievements that are more difficult than that. Whereas for the Castle Wars thing, I don't think you have any other things that are longer than Castle Wars that will net you an achievement in the game. So that's kind of, I don't know. I just feel like it's so dumb that they would limit it like that. But you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, I wouldn't even expect to be able to get this tier 3 cape, at least not for a very long time. I would like it just to be like that long-term thing to go for. If you truly are an insane completionist, you should have no problem in trying to get these really difficult things. Like, I mean, I know I've played games on Steam where I'm a completionist player in like every game I play, so I try to get like all the achievements on Steam. Sometimes there's a game that has achievement that's too difficult for me, but I like to try and, get better at the game and keep trying and beat it eventually. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but that doesn't make it a bad achievement. It just means I'm not good enough at the game to be able to do it. I don't know why Jagex is thinking they need to appeal to casual players so much, but like even for the insane level of the completionist, you need to appeal to casuals by limiting it to a 1K Enrage. And I'm not trying to say 1K Enrage is like a casual level, but at the same time, it's like you can go so much higher than that. So why would you not be including that on the cape? Now, you guys can let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. I just feel like they're taking the wrong approach here with the top level of achievements. We'll have to wait and see, though. Maybe they'll make change their minds. I'm not sure. They have been making a lot of updates to this document, and I don't really know when this is going to ever come out, if it ever does, because right now it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of concrete design decisions made that they're going with. They're just basically in the spitballing phase, and doesn't seem like there's anything concrete, like I said. So not sure when this is coming out, but I really think that they should consider adding some higher level things to the top echelon of the capes, because otherwise what's the point of going for them, unless obviously people like going for 4K Telos because it's really prestigious, but I don't know, that's just my opinion. Other than that, I wanted to talk about the Tier 92 armor sets. They proposed adding a 3% per piece buff to your damage bonus of your damage boosting ultimates Sunshine and Death Swiftness. So if you wore the top, legs, and helm of either the Elite Serenic or Elite Tectonic, you would get an extra 9% damage bonus in your Sunshine. And since I don't really know the whole I don't really know how numbers work all that much, or how like the numbers would roll out in the game for that to work, it sounded like a pretty cool buff to me. It sounded like it was going to be really strong and make the prices go up, but at the same time I thought it would be, I don't know, useful. But it seemed apparently it was super OP because everybody raged on Reddit, and they admitted to it being too OP on their own Reddit comments. So that has been reverted. One sec. All right, sorry about that, guys. Had to quickly just step away for a sec. But yeah, they decided to revert that change to that proposed change. Like they went back on it and said they're not going to do that. They're going to go back to the drawing board, figure out something else. I just feel like it's kind of weird that they had to get the Reddit backlash. Like they said in their Reddit comment, like, I agree, yes, it is too OP, and our combat council also agrees that it is far too OP. We're going to have to go back to the drawing board. It's like, did you not run this by your combat council before blasting it onto Reddit? I just don't understand how this ended up coming out, and then was like, Jagex was like, yeah, it's too OP. Sorry about that. And then they just go back on it. I don't know. It seems weird to me. Someone might have just rushed it and was too excited about getting it out. But what they're also changing is going to be the way that you repair it, I guess. I think you're able to repair it from any state with the scales or the dust or whatever it's called. I don't know. I think you just be able to repair it, like, just so you don't have, it's not going to degrade like to dust anymore. But you have to repair it with the actual items, so won't really change much, I don't think. Just make it easier to repair, unless they're reducing the repair costs in some way, which could be a possibility to make it a little cheaper to acquire and to use. But I don't know. We'll have to see what they do. Just wanted to give a little comment on that. Not too much really to discuss surrounding it until they do come out with the actual buff that they're going to actually put into the game, but we'll have to see when that actually happens. But it definitely is needed to make the armors maybe possibly worth using, because of their exorbitant prices right now. Definitely make that so it's not the case. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video. Let me know your thoughts on the comp stuff in the comments down below. I just feel like they should go all out and put everything onto the tier 3 stuff, but that's just my opinion. Like, they're putting Castle Wars on, which is the most challenging minigame achievement, so why not 4K Telos on the tier 3? I don't know. Anyways, I will see you guys in the video tomorrow where I'll talk about the week's update. I think it's just going to be patch notes. We don't really have like any updates this month, I don't think. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys then. Thanks for watching the video, and see you next time. Peace out.